Hello, and welcome to the Iowa Judicial Branch building. We're here on the southern edge of the state capitol complex in downtown Des Moines. And this is the home of the Iowa Supreme Court, the Iowa Court of Appeals, and state court administration. Every year, hundreds of people, students and adults, stop in for a tour at the home of the Iowa Judicial Branch. Today, I'd like to give you a look around this building and take a look at some of its special features and the fascinating stories behind a few of them. For example, these murals. They were in the Supreme Court courtroom at the Capitol for years, going back to the 19th century. But after a fire in 1904, they were damaged so badly they had to be removed. And the story behind this judge's study chair, it goes back even further, predating Iowa becoming a state. First, a bit of background. The Iowa Supreme Court convened under the Capitol building dome for 116 years, and the Iowa Court of Appeals was created in 1976 to help with the court's ever-increasing workload. And many of the other judicial branch offices were scattered around downtown Des Moines. But then, in 2000, the Iowa legislature approved funding for the design and building of a home specifically for the judicial branch. Construction was completed, and the judicial branch was consolidated under one roof in 2003. The five-story judicial branch building is a 124,000-square-foot model of efficiency and durability. The floor plan is organized into two main components. There's a formal wing and an office wing. The formal wing, or public area of the building, is where you'll find the ceremonial and public spaces, such as the rotunda and two courtrooms. The office wing contains judges' chambers and staff offices and wraps around a glass-roofed atrium that's designed to let natural light into the core of the building. The building incorporates classical design elements. The coffered dome at the top of the rotunda rises to 105 feet, where a skylight floods the rotunda with natural light. The base of the rotunda is a beautiful 40-foot-wide marble floor. In the center is a spiral design made with inlaid brown Italian and blue Pakistani marble. The buff-colored marble walls serve as a backdrop to the rotunda floor and are an example of the building's simple but elegant details. Here are some other things to look for at the Judicial Branch building: the curved pediment above the third-floor balcony and main entry, and the vaulted ceilings and columns. They're designed in a simple style in harmony with the nearby Capitol building and the Ola Babcock Miller building. Traditional building materials, including Indiana limestone, granite, copper, and bronze, provide durability and add to the building's timeless image. The ornamental details of the building are, again, simple but elegant. Back inside, some of the decorative details in the building also mimic designs you'll find at the state capitol. Check out the embossed patterns around the rotunda and the medallions in the courtroom railings. These are designs that are found in the Capitol's historic Supreme Court courtroom. Can you find them here? Maybe up on the walls. How about the ceiling? Or the elaborately carved bench? Nope. Look down here on this heating grate. Yep, see how the designs found here are mirrored in the rotunda and courtrooms in the Judicial Branch building. Remember those murals we mentioned just a moment ago? Take a look at this one. This is Columbia. These magnificent works of art once adorned the ceiling. That's right, the ceiling of the Supreme Court courtroom in the Capitol. But they can now be seen throughout the Judicial Branch building. The murals were designed by August Knorr, a 19th century Des Moines decorator who decorated the state capitol. They were painted by German artist Fritz Melzer in 1886. The murals were removed from the old courtroom in 1904 after they were damaged during that fire in the Capitol. They eventually ended up on the walls of the Ola Babcock Miller building, which was used as an historical museum. Then, in 1999, the Supreme Court retained an art conservator who would remove the murals from the walls and bring them back to life. For 2 years, the artist painstakingly cleaned and repaired these murals before they were ready for display, and the results are amazing. There's a recurring theme in these murals. It's agriculture, celebrating Iowa's greatness as a farming state. Now let's continue our look at what happens at the Judicial Branch building. On the east end of the first floor, the Supreme Court clerk serves both the Supreme Court and Court of Appeals. The clerk's office is responsible for maintaining all of the records of the cases pending before the two courts. The counter in the clerk's office is made of cherry and marble. The clerk's reception area includes a computer terminal for public access to court records and for electronic filing of court documents. Also, while we're here in the clerk's office, here's that chair we mentioned a couple of minutes ago. This study chair was used by Iowa's first Supreme Court Chief Justice. Charles Mason began serving when Iowa was still a territory in 1838, and he served until 1847. This simple black painted chair he used has a right arm that supports a flared writing surface of one board. The writing surface has a leather strip and a small curved piece, possibly to hold an ink container. On the other side of the rotunda, the west end of the first floor has two conference rooms and a small auditorium that seats 48. It can live stream the oral arguments of the Supreme Court. The auditorium is also used for long-distance education programs, in-house education, and visitor programs, and, if needed, overflow crowds from the courtrooms. Up on the second floor is where you'll find the offices of State Court Administration. They're responsible for the day-to-day management of the court system statewide. Its duties include finance, human resources, statistics, education, and technology. The Office of Professional Regulation is also on the second floor. These folks help the court regulate the practice of law. They administer bar exams, maintain continuing legal education records for attorneys, and investigate complaints against lawyers. Also on the second floor is an area known as the Light Court, but it's not a court in the legal sense, more of a courtyard for the 150 people who work here. It's an area providing natural light to the interior ring of offices. The glass-roofed atrium is used for employee lunch times, retirement ceremonies, and public receptions. The third floor is home to the 9-member Iowa Court of Appeals. The court hears appeals from trial court decisions that the Supreme Court transfers to it. Some opinions from the Court of Appeals are published and serve as guidance for later cases in the Iowa court system. The appeals court hears cases throughout the year and issues opinions twice a month. The stately Court of Appeals courtroom seats 40 people. It has coffered ceilings and cherry-paneled columns and walls, and a view of the south facade of the Capitol. The Court of Appeals usually hears cases in panels of 3 judges, and bailiffs, who sit at the end of the bench, assist the court by opening and closing the sessions and timing oral arguments. The fourth floor is the home of the 7-member Iowa Supreme Court, the highest court in Iowa. Every year, 2,000-plus appeals from trial courts are made directly to the Supreme Court. It decides which cases it will hear directly and which cases it will transfer to the Court of Appeals. The courtroom seats 66 people. It's decorated with a barrel-vaulted coffered ceiling, rows of columns along the north and south walls, marble wainscoting, and another beautiful view of the state capitol. The court's cherry wood bench sits in front of a curved marble wall. The bench was designed and built by local contractors. The room is fully equipped with video cameras for recording, and oral arguments are streamed live on the internet. The justices meet to discuss their cases and other judicial branch matters in a small conference room in the Supreme Court chambers. The sparse furnishings of the conference room include this old wooden coat rack, still in use today, now for holding the justices' robes before and after they take the bench to hear arguments. Originally, its 8 double-rounded circles were carefully crafted to receive many overcoats and top hats. The room offers a spectacular view of downtown Des Moines and of the sculpture Shattering Silence to the west. This sculpture tells the story of the Iowa Supreme Court's very first case. This was the Territorial Supreme Court in 1839, before Iowa became a state. The case is known as In the Matter of Ralph, and it says, in Iowa, a former slave living here would stay free and could not be forcibly returned or reclaimed by his owner. The Judicial Branch building is open to the public for visits weekdays from 8 until 4:30. Likewise, when oral arguments for the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court take place, the public is welcome to attend and watch. Group tours for more than 20 persons can be scheduled ahead of your arrival, or a self-guided tour sheet is available for individuals. When you're in Des Moines, we hope you'll make time to visit Iowa's Judicial Branch building. So there you have it. Thanks a lot. As a matter of fact, on behalf of everyone here at the Iowa Judicial Branch building, thanks for watching today.